live. I can get you guys to go live right now. Unless you want to check it.
Probably close that door.
Is that going live? On. Go for it. Yep. Talk for me, please.
Sorry, guys. Testing. Sorry, Brian Dib. Really appreciate that you guys sticking around while we just unbelievable. As I said before, the bunker strikes again. Gerard Sutton, gives it to the Doggies fans one more time. But yeah, really apologize about that, guys. I'm just not sure sometimes what happens with the internet. It just seems to absolutely crap itself, and we need to restart all the systems. And as you can imagine, it's an absolute nightmare when that happens. And we thought we had the issue figured out, but really apologize. Really appreciate you guys sticking around. So sorry about that. Dibbo, where were we? You remember?
We're talking about the euphoria of being a Canterbury fan in the finals.
Oh yeah, so I was just saying. So there's actually a new video that I'm preparing that I think you guys will really enjoy. And I was trudging through some of the old videos, and I came across the Panthers versus Bulldogs preliminary final in 2004, and there was some news articles or some news reports about the fans going absolutely wild in Belmore after we won that match to get into the grand final, and how dominant our attack and our defense was in sort of leading up to that, other than the Cowboys loss. And I can't tell you the goosebumps that were running down my neck just thinking about what could potentially happen in 2024 if we are to get anywhere near there. Like if we win our first final, that first 5 versus 8, if we end up finishing 5th, I it is going to be on a whole nother level. And there's going to be a whole new generation of Bulldog supporters that have absolutely no idea what it's like to celebrate as a Doggies fan. And, we were talking about how a lot of the fans are starting to show hate. So you look on, on Twitter, on Facebook, on all the social media, and you see that there's a real dislike of the Bulldogs. There's a dislike towards the team. Crichton, now people calling Crichton a grub for standing his ground in the tackle. I hate the fact that they can be racist, but the fact that they dislike or that they're hating the Bulldogs and the Bulldogs fans and the way the Bulldogs fans celebrate, for me, it's very ominous. It's very ominous for a lot of teams. Don't you reckon, Dib?
Of course. You want the hate to come.
Honestly, you feel like you
want the hate
do.
to come out. You don't want, you want that rivalry. It's us. It's me. Don't worry about them. You want to bash them. There's no friends here anymore. It is the finals. It's conquer. It's no mercy. They don't like yous.
We don't like them. We don't want us to like us. We don't want them to like us.
They don't want you to win. So don't go easy on them. Ruthless.
Oh, man.
If you go to the games, you've got to try unsettle their players, unsettle their fans. Not in a bad way, not in a.
Just got to quiet them with the performances on the field.
If Canterbury make the finals, you want to make sure that he's outnumbering them. I think the first week he's definitely, unless he's make the top four, and he can still get a top home game in the top four, depending how results go. But I think your first week most likely to get a home game elimination, although still a very good chance of getting a qualifying final, if you want to call it that, with a chance away. But he's definitely getting one home game in the finals at least. And you want to make sure that he's, outnumber the opposition, for example, in terms of crowd. I reckon if you guys were to play Melbourne in Melbourne, not only does that 30,000 seater sell out, I reckon you guys could get at least 8 to 10,000 fans down there.
If we're playing Melbourne, I'll book my tickets. I'm going to go watch that.
That's
game.
what I'm saying. I reckon you guys could get a good, a third of the crowd. That's significant because I know for a fact all you need to be is a third of the crowd, and he's definitely louder than them, and that everyone will think there's more Canterbury fans. Mm-hmm. It will actually intimidate the Storm playing down there, thinking they're not at home.
For me, I think that one of the things I find so absolutely amazing about all that's happening right now is that it's pointing towards success. It's pointing towards momentum. And, I feel like, and I've said this last week, we're playing finals footy. We've been playing finals footy for a while. And, nothing says finals footy as much as the way the Bulldogs won against the Warriors in New Zealand. Right?
I was confident they were going to win.
I was very confident we were going to win.
I know it was Shaun Johnson's last game, but just a number of factors. Obviously, they're getting emotional, and I thought, man, that miserly defence going to hold. Uncharacteristically, I thought did let in 3 tries in that first half, but performed how I thought it would in the second half. And hey, there's nothing wrong with being a bit dirty. I mean, you're not going to, win games or win the title being an angel. So I got nothing wrong. I know. I mean, how much did Crichton cop 1 week?
Yeah, he took the early play, so he'll be gone for a week.
That's nice. That's a nice 1 week holiday for him.
Skelton comes in, plays one last game for the Bulldogs.
You never know. He might feature more. I wouldn't be surprised if he features more throughout you guys. He's been fantastic when he has played. Yeah, you know what a beautiful thing to have. Good players missing out because, spots are hard to come by because I don't think anyone in that team's out of form. Even when Hutchison was playing, they were winning games.
You know what's interesting? Random Stats Guy, check him out on either Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. He's everywhere. Random Stats Guy has actually come out with a statistic that the Bulldogs are more successful without Stephen Crichton in the team. I find that absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, but there's a number of factors like who you guys are playing.
There's
a few things coming when it was played, where it was.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sometimes, stats are kind of irrelevant, but he's winning games that matter with him there. Like, for example, Canberra at Belmore. How long ago was that? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, I think, yeah.
I think he scored all your try. Well, he had a hand in
He
every
won the
try.
game for us.
If he didn't score it, he set it up.
Yeah, he won the game for us.
Canberra played out of their skins that day. So, he's not there. I don't know if you guys win the game, for example.
No, I'm with you, but I also...
He was hands down man of the match that day.
I agreed. I think we broke Canberra that day. a little bit.
I hope they're broken for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know how the ref helped them against Penrith, but anyway.
Yeah, but look, Penrith had a down game. Penrith had a poor game, and I think Dane Laurie at wing is a poor option.
I thought Taruva was a shoo-in. What's happening?
Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about the first 20 minutes of the Bulldogs. I think you mentioned it. Firstly, I want to say, I think that just on the Warriors, I think that some of those youngsters they've got coming through, Sifakula, Helasima, and a couple of others are absolute freaks. And if Webster can get them to buy into what he's trying to achieve there, I think the Warriors will be in for a lot of success. Luke Metcalf is one of the most underrated halves in the competition. He is fantastic. He had a hand in 2 of their 3 tries, and he was everywhere. He is an absolute gun, and I think he has been one of the reasons why the Warriors have not performed as well as they should have. He's an absolute freak, and the Warriors are lucky to have him, first and foremost. And to be honest, I think he should be 7 over Tamare Martin, and maybe Tamare Martin goes to 6, right, over Chanel Harris-Tavita, because the Warriors have been better with Luke Metcalf there, and I'm a big fan of his, man. I'm a big fan of Luke Metcalf. What do you guys think? Like, just be really sort of objective about how the Warriors played. I didn't think they played very well. I don't think they had the fitness to test us, but I'm a big fan of
something that Holden Forever just said that made me really excited.
What's that?
So if Canterbury punish Manly this weekend and say St George wins. Oh, no, hang on a sec. They still cannot miss out. Unless the Dolphins win, then Manly can still potentially miss out.
No, Manly can't miss out because even if because they're on 31 points and the next below the Dragons are on 26. So even if they win the next 2,
the rest are
Manly,
all 5.
Yeah,
and then Dragons are only 3. Only Dragons can usurp them for a 7th spot.
Potentially, if Manly lose both.
Only if Dolphins had won last week. And then
that could have been an option. But
that would have been hilarious.
Look, I think Manly could potentially do some damage in the finals.
Depends how they defend. They got the attackers there that can really attack. It just depends on the day. I mean, also their defense, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. Maybe against sides like the Roosters, they can put a damage. But there's certain sides that defend well.
To be honest, people are blowing so much smoke up Roosters' ass. Look, they've got great attack, but they have no resilience. And I think that they're peaking even a little bit too early.
Do we both agree that if Cleary's not injured, Penrith is definitely the side to beat? Like, I know Melbourne beat them in Penrith, even Penrith, I didn't think, and then Cleary got injured in that game. I didn't think Penrith was even playing to its ability that day as well. But anyways,
look, with Cleary,
it's anyone's to win.
With Cleary, I have the Panthers as favourites. I think Melbourne and the Roosters are on the same level.
No. You can't just put them there themselves. I think Roosters, you could probably, I don't know, do you think Roosters are your bogey side or what's the go there?
I don't think Roosters are our bogey side.
He's beat them once this year.
And we beat them in that first half. We scored 26 unanswered points.
And you're only 2 points behind them, aren't you?
I think
4 or 2?
Maybe 4.
All right. He's only a couple of wins behind them and one win behind the other 2 sides. So being a non-Canterbury fan and unbiased view, I'd actually, and from the way I've seen it.
Oh no, you're right. We're 2 points behind 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, so I would absolutely put you guys on the same pedestal as those 3 sides ahead of you. Or I would honestly put you. You're in it to win it, and you have every right to have the belief to think that you can win the grand final. Why not? I mean, Penrith in 2003, the preceding year came 14th. In 2002, the year before that in 2001, they were actually wooden spooners. So why can't Canterbury win?
Look at Tigers in 05.
Just because they're sitting 5th, they're actually 1 win behind 2nd. So effectively, they're a top 4 side.
The last team to win it out of the top 4 were the Sydney Bulldogs in 1995.
Matter of fact, they're the only side.
Well, they are the only side.
But can I point out shed some light on that?
Yeah.
Canterbury had a slow start to that year, I think in different form plus injuries plus suspensions.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, in 94, they were minor premiers.
They were.
In 93, I think they were also the best side that year, or 2nd best side. And then somehow fell apart in that preliminary final. It was against St George, if you want to know.
Yeah, he's always got to bring up the St George.
But I'm just pointing out to you, Canterbury's the only ever side not, to make it from outside the top 4. So that, 95 was a phenomenal run. I saw
It was amazing. And look, Holden Forever saying the Broncos won from 5th 2 years before the Bulldogs won from 6th. Are you sure? Is that correct?
I thought they were 4th.
Yeah, I thought the Bulldogs were the first.
I think they came 4th, Holden Forever, because this is 93 we're talking about. Yeah. I know they beat Canberra. I think they were 4th that year. Anyway, we'll get some stats man to check it up, Mothman or someone. I haven't seen Mothman in a while. I hope he's all right.
But yeah, in any case, I think that game for the Warriors, like our second halves, that's the 8th time. That's the 8th game or the 8th team we've kept to 0 in the second half. The 8th team.
I think second half of the season, you guys are the best performing side.
Well,
it has to be
11 of 13. Yeah, we've won 11 of 13.
I think you guys are the best performing side then.
I think we are.
Yeah. So.
We're on form. On form, we are the best team in the competition. If you look at, like, even the Roosters win, sure, they scored a lot of points against the Titans team that has no defense, but they also leaked 22.
But I just want to point out, like, the comp isn't won in the first 13 rounds. Sure, you set yourself up, but the comp is won, how you finishing off that second half of the season and the sort of attitude and, how healthy you're looking towards going into the finals. There's 2 rounds to go. I don't want to, whatever you want to say, hex, jinx, whatever word you want to say, put an eye on the Canterbury side. But when it comes to health and form, I definitely got him ahead of Cronulla. I definitely got him, at the moment, I got him ahead of Penrith, to be honest. I know Penrith are the 3-time defending premiers, but it gets harder to win it every year. They're attempting a fate that's only, I think, ever happened twice in the history of the comp to win 4 in a row. There's only 2 other sides that have done it.
Yeah.
Show you how rare and hard. It hasn't been done for about 60 years, over 60 years, I think, or about 60 years anyway. So I'm being fair dinkum to you. Melbourne, honestly, I reckon Canterbury, if they're not the favourites, they should. All right, let's not say they're going to be the favourites because everyone's going to use they've been very poor for the last 4 or 5 years. So let's have them second or third favourites. That's actually being fair dinkum. I'd have them ahead of Cronulla.
Yeah.
In terms of favouritism. And then probably at this stage, maybe just ahead of Penrith and slightly behind maybe the Roosters. So Melbourne will be your favourites. But even then, I don't think the Roosters will make the grand final. I honestly don't have them making the grand final. I think somebody can upset them beforehand. So I honestly have them second or third favourites. And you know what? He's probably just a whisker behind Melbourne. I'm being fair dinkum here.
So one of the things that I realised about the Roosters on the weekend is they are extremely ill-disciplined. They are extremely ill-disciplined.
And there you go. They're just like Jared Warrior-Hargraves.
Jared Warrior-Hargraves is gone for 3. Yeah, Swiley is injured, gone.
How long?
He may be back next week. They thought it's just a really bad stinger, so he may be back next week.
So now you're my second favourites. Outright.
Jared Warrior-Hargraves, minimum of 3 weeks. If he does fight it and lose, he'll be gone for 4 weeks. Then you've got to remember, like, they've got hotheads like Spencer Leniu. They've got Victor the Inflictor, who's also known to give away a penalty.
Regardless.
And overall...
Just on how you guys have been playing, I know he's lost... How long ago did you guys lose to him? 3 months ago? About 3 months ago.
Yeah, about that, 2.5 months ago,
I'm just saying, you guys are a serious threat to win it. I know he's sitting 5th, but that is because of your slow start to the season.
Guys, we only say this on this podcast, but we don't say this out in the open because we want to stay under the radar because we want people to continue to doubt us all the way to the grand final. The only way that we succeed is when we've got this siege mentality, and that's the way the Bulldogs have always operated.
Everyone thinks you guys are getting ahead of yourselves. I haven't seen the players get ahead of themselves. If the fans want to get ahead of themselves, let them.
They're fans.
They have every right to.
Absolutely.
They're only fans. They're just couch potatoes, like every single one of us. But you know what? The fans go and celebrate every single right. Obviously, the cave dwellers over here haven't seen the fans in Europe or haven't seen the fans in the USA. It is absolutely fanatical levels. And I'm glad the Canterbury fans are actually going out on the street celebrating post-game because, honestly, I was out in Sydney last night and it was already dead at 9 o'clock. Like, this place is an absolute hole. There's no atmosphere. There's nothing to do. I'm glad that Canterbury fans are actually creating some sort of excitement. And I'm actually looking forward to, I can see it start heating up. It will really heat up in the last round of the NRL regular season. But I can't wait for that first week of the finals.
So you've touched on a few things that I want to quickly discuss. But first, I just want to read some comments. So Tariq Ahmed said that if Penrith have a full, healthy squad, I find it hard to see any of that team win this year. With Cleary there, with the Fish and Leota firing, I honestly, I don't disagree. I think that Penrith will be very, very difficult to contain if they have their full team on the park. And they've got Taruva on the wing, not Laurie. I think Laurie is a big liability for them on the wing.
I'm just saying off the regular, off what I'm seeing now, obviously 2 weeks is a long time, but I'm just going off the current as we see it now. Canterbury are your second favourites after Melbourne.
Yeah.
This is as of today.
As it stands.
Obviously, things can change quickly in 1 week or 2 weeks. Canterbury got things going their way. Yes, they've had a suspension. It's only 1 week. I still think they're going to win, and I hope they win comfortably, just to put a dent in Manly because nobody loves Manly. Injuries, I mean, they're getting players back from injury. And if there's a niggling injury, they're just resting the play. They are in a good situation.
Very good. And look, Tariq Ahmed's again, he's mentioned, I don't support the Dogs, but I love the atmosphere in Belmore. The Bulldogs have changed the experience of Belmore. There is energy. And if you go through Belmore, if you drive through Belmore, if you ever just over the last couple of weeks, you go through Belmore, you'll see just how much energy and life and action there is now in Belmore because the Bulldogs are going so well. Like we had Mayor Bilal Hayek on the podcast, and he said when the Bulldogs are doing well, the community is doing well. And honestly, it's one of those things.
You can feel the positivity and the excitement rubbing off.
It's just amazing.
Like merchandise sales are starting to go through the roof every day. You just hear someone from the Canterbury just talking footy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know they're jumping 2 weeks ahead, but they have every right to jump 2 weeks ahead because they are confirmed in the finals already. But think about it. They haven't experienced it for 8 years.
8 years, yeah. It's been a long time.
And it's, a lot of these younger kids, younger generations that are probably now, 14 or 13 or 15, they're probably not old enough to remember.
They would.
8 years is a long time, especially someone in their teenage years.
It's been a long time. Can
you imagine a 12, 13-year-old or 10-year-old? Like, they must be jumping up and down. Like, growing, like us older generation, it was normal for our sides to make the finals week in, week out. And if you didn't make the grand final, you'd absolutely rage it. Now, it's got to the point where we're to get back in the finals. They've done that. And you know what? I like to see how far they can go. I don't know. I just got a feeling this is going to be the, what do we call it? Not the Cinderella story, or maybe the Cinderella story, we'll call it that way, similar to the Cinderella Man. If you've watched that movie, one of my favourite movies, Russell Crowe, stars as James J. Braddock. Just feels like it's got some sort of feel behind it, Yeah. It's similar. It feels similar.
And that was just John Curry calling me, deputy chairman of the Bulldogs.
You can exit the room and take that call.
No, that's all right. I let him know we're live.
Go out and take the call. I'm happy to keep discussing here behind your back. I might start trashing the Dogs when you're not here.
But there is, a couple of things looking forward. James has mentioned that Man is a big loss. Man is a massive loss, but we get Curran back. So Curran had 1 week off and he's back on the bench. And, you lose someone like Man, and this is the beauty of the team that the Bulldogs have assembled for 2024. You lose someone like Kurt Mann, and you replace him with someone like Curran.
That's the only sour thing that's happened for you guys. Yeah.
And he's out for the rest of the year. But I mean, you think about it, right?
It was a broken collarbone, eh?
Yeah, no, a broken clavicle.
Ooh.
Which is 10 weeks. So even we make the grand final, he won't be back. But if we do make the grand final, even if we don't win it, Kurt Mann has been such an instrumental part of the team, not just on the field, but in terms of leadership. His experience has been invaluable for someone like Bailey Haywood, even Jamin Salmon. But we get Curran back.
Yeah, as Brian Dibb likes to use the word Sikaflex, he's been the Sikaflex for the team. He kept everything together. He's linked up with everyone. He's just his experience and he's Mr. Fix-It, man. And
and to be honest, like
he's been one of your better
players. When he played prop for us, like he's not a prop, right?
Kurt Mann or Curran?
No, Curran.
Oh,
right?
you're talking about Kurt Mann.
No, Kurt Mann's just been everywhere. I mean, the good thing about
I want to see if this works.
What's happened with when Kurt Mann's played in the middle for us, not only has his attack been absolutely amazing, but his defense, he hits hard. When I said in the beginning of the year that Kurt Mann will be our, I guess if there was anyone that you would liken him to, I said it would be a McInnes. All right, he'd be a bit of a McInnes. I think he's outplayed McInnes in every facet this year, other than making more tackles.
He's offered, he's offered more zip in attack, more different style of play. Like obviously McInnes has got his strengths.
Oh, no disrespect to McInnes at all.
And he was actually, he's been immense, for Cronulla at stages this year.
He's been their best, I think.
One of their best, yeah.
But you look at what Kurt Mann's brought to the team, and it's intangible just how much he's brought. But then you bring Curran on, and Curran, coming off the bench as a forward for us, the guy, or even starting as prop, the guy's averaged about 200 meters for us a game.
That's
at
phenomenal.
Prop. It's ridiculous, making 30 plus tackles, missing very few. It's really, really a special team that Cameron Ciraldo has put together, and showed again in the Warriors game. And look, I think Burton has just absolutely started to play out of his skin. A couple of minutes in after halftime, he kicks that 40-20 in that weather. It's just, you've got to take your hat off to someone like Burton, who people have doubted his whole career whether he can play 5'8", and now he is one of, if not the form 5'8" in the competition. I don't care what anyone says. I will die on this hill. Burton is one of the form 5'8" of the competition. And I reckon, excuse me,
there's no denying.
I reckon he's squarely...
It's not an argument.
I reckon he's squarely in line to be 5'8" of the year next to someone like Tom Dearden. I don't care what anyone says.
It's not an argument.
Honestly.
It's not an argument. He has been one of the form halves in the competition. He's come on strongly. It's not an argument anymore.
And Sexton...
Anyone that doesn't see that's just one-eyed.
I agree. And you know what?
He's silenced all the doubters, all the critics, including myself. I'm just here saying I was one of the critics, so I'm actually admitting it, but it's not an argument anymore. I just want to ask a burning question. Has any of you guys been going to sleep in your Canterbury jerseys?
Canterbury undies, Canterbury socks, Canterbury jerseys, Canterbury shorts, everything. Mate, Canterbury, blue and white, up and down.
I reckon I got a mate, Finch. I reckon he's been going to sleep in his Canterbury jersey because every day...
Do you blame us?
You know what? Every day, ever since maybe the last couple of months when it's looked like pretty much Canterbury was going to play finals, mate, you can't talk to him. He's on another pedestal. Canterbury's unbreakable, and if your side's just garbage now, so if you don't support Canterbury, your side's garbage. You can't talk to Finch anymore.
D22 has said losing Kurt Mann is as big as losing Cleary for Panthers. Not to that extent, but he's so crucial. Look, D22, I want to agree with you, but the only reason I don't think it's that much of a problem is we've got Bailey Hayward, we've got Jamin Salmon. Then we've got also Jake Turpin, who has done a great job when he's been brought into the first grade team that can cover that role.
Let's hope it's not needed.
Which is why I'm not that... I'm disappointed that he's injured. Oh, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we've got the cover for it. Can
I just add?
Yeah.
And I know I'm glad you're pointing out the cover and all that on the money, but honestly, coming from an outsider looking at the Canterbury side, I don't see any signs of fatigue there, any signs of battered bodies. Look like they're doing it tough. I don't know what they're feeding and what sort of wheat bix. I don't know if they have state of the art recovery session.
But it's the Lebanese showy. It's the barbecue. Did you see it on the? If you guys go on the Bulldogs Instagram page, they actually. They brought in someone to do a Lebanese barbecue for them. That's what they're feeding the boys, brother.
I was about to touch on, I don't know what sort of recovery facilities Canterbury Bulldogs have access to. But if you see, for example, teams like Real Madrid in the other sports code of soccer, they got something like cryotherapy or all these sort of things. So even more advanced, it's phenomenal. But, I mean, I'd love to, if we can maybe, if you can probably get an insight from John Curry, for example, the Canterbury president. But what are they doing different? Can he get us that insight? Can he get us the access? I'd like to know. Because
I think in the off-season, we should be able to get a couple of the trainers in from the club that can give us a little bit more insight on what's exactly going on. But let me tell you, I will tell you something. Travis Tuma has done a phenomenal job with the team.
I'd love to know, what's going on.
And, Travis Tuma has a history of leading and training and getting teams fit for finals and grand finals.
It's sort of like he's got the acorn sort of head. So, if the dot, I love, everyone just, rubbing his head for good luck.
And Travis Toom has done a great job. He has been in the media. He was in the media earlier in the year because of the legal thing that's going on. But I think, it's very much dead and buried at the moment.
No, it's not a
as-
distraction, and
it wasn't.
It won't be a distraction. This side's mentally strong.
Side doesn't give a
I'll tell you
shit.
what really helps a successful club:
What's that?
club management.
Yeah, I think.
If you got it going great from the front house, as in from top to bottom,
Yep.
from the guy that's flipping burgers at your canteen to the janitor to the people that everywhere, all facets. From the front house, the rest of the club's the dominoes are gonna fall in.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually want to give a shout out to one person who I think has been so instrumental to the club.
The canteen lady.
John Curry. I can't.
Here we go.
Yeah,
John, if you're watching, somebody's
I can't.
somebody's pissing in your
I
pocket,
can't,
John.
honestly, I can't praise John Curry enough for the work that he did. Because you got to remember, before Gus, before Adam, Drusy, before everybody,
He's been there a while.
It was John.
He's been for that
It
transition
was John
period.
that had to take all the bullets. It was John that had to make all the tough decisions. And it was John that brought on Gus. It was John that brought on Adam. If you remember, he brought on Steve Hansen during COVID. He had to weather the storm. There was a board issue where he had to weather as well.
Can I point out something about John? He did the most. This is where I see his most selfless act is. He brought in Adam Gerisi to take the top dog role, knowing that Adam can take the club. Even he saw that the prowess he's got, what he can bring, and he stepped aside for him to take his position. Basically the chairman position. That tells me that John Curry
he's
put
genuine and sincere.
club before himself. He's seen someone that's can take the club forward more than he is. John's still involved in the club.
I actually think that they, in ways they just serve different purposes. John is so connected to the grassroots and so connected to the junior leagues. The amount of work he does with them is fantastic. We actually just released a video where we went and investigated a very successful junior club in the Greenacre Tigers, and we spoke to their secretary, we spoke to some of their coaches, some of the players, some that are signed to the SG ball team for next year,
I saw
about what the success is.
I saw some of that. I actually loved the video. So, I've at work today, we'll flat chat, but I was flipping through snippets of it and that. Saw some other sides in there as well. So,
Barella Bears.
yeah, I'd love to do one on Moorebank Rams. I think they're on the border of the Liverpool area. They're a massive
Would
club.
love to do
They've got a
Barella
diverse
Bears,
junior base. So, anyone watching that's involved with clubs, like for example, St. John Eagles or Bankstown Bulls for that matter
any of the
as well.
Bulldogs junior teams, you reach out to us. We would love to go in there, speak to some of the players, the coaches, the presidents, the secretaries, people that are involved, the canteen lady, and just, shoot it and give your club a bit of a promotion, get you guys out there. Because I think, that's what makes the Bulldogs juniors successful, and that's sort of what we're about. We love the community, and we love sort of highlighting sort of top to bottom of where the club's going. The other thing that I want to point out is that All Things Bulldogs, which is another YouTube channel that also does Bulldogs content, did a really great interview with John Curry. So if you guys are interested in listening to that, head to the All Things Bulldogs YouTube channel and have a listen to it, because I think it's great. It was a great chat, and I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. But so, excuse me. Now, I want to have a bit of a discussion around the Bulldogs celebrations. Right? I know we've touched on it, and I really want your input, guys. I genuinely want your input.
I want to see it spread out.
Let me just get in there, right? So, the Oracle, who is a Roosters supporter on Twitter, is asking whether the Bulldogs supporting or supporters and their celebrations are a bit much.
Brian, his name's Brian.
Brian, right?
He used to have a radio show I used to listen to.
As a Dragons fan, not as a Bulldogs fan, right? And Spaz and all, Spazza and all the other sort of non-Bulldogs fans, I'd love to hear your input on this. Do you guys think it's gone too far? Is it too much?
Hell no. I'll tell you why. Maybe with the prevalence of media these days, but I remember Canterbury fans used to drive down. I used to see them in Brighton Le Sands, up and doing laps with their flags. You'd see them come down King George's Road, up Forest Road, or up Stony Creek Road. I used to see them in Brighton Le Sands, or down my ways, basically, back and forth in the plenty of numbers. Like now it's only confined to Burwood Road and Belmore. But if anyone remembers 2004, mate, those streets were closed off. There was tens of thousands of fans in there. What are we getting now? A couple of thousand, fans, and a lot of them are youth. There's nothing over the top. I mean, traffic's still flowing. Business is booming. Nobody's getting hurt. Nothing's getting damaged. Why be a party pooper? You know, like let it go. I'd love to see other clubs adapt the same sort of thing. Obviously, maybe they got to put in some measures to make sure things don't get out of hand, or traffic management, and everyone's safe, those sort of things. So, I mean, USA, for God's sake, they flip over cars, and during the celebrations, or
Well, if the Bulldogs supporters did that, the first headline would be terrorism in Belmore. That's what you would hear, because that's the type of crap that Bulldogs fans cop. A couple of quick comments. Samir Abu Williams has said, if the Doggies win on the weekend, I'm getting the Kennel podcast tattooed on my ass. Samir, if that happens,
I want to know who this guy is.
You're coming on the podcast and you're showing us your ass live.
Surely he's a Doggies fan. Like, doesn't he already have the Dogs tattoo on there already? But yeah, anyways, I don't think I'd want to see his ass, to be honest. So.
Tariq Ahmed has said in response to is the celebration over the top? People in Australia are allergic to fun. I think that it is a bit of a cultural difference and a bit of a cultural shock to a lot of these teams that maybe don't have as many ethnic supporters. And I say that with all due respect. I no disrespect to any supporter and any way a fandom celebrates, but I think one of the beautiful things that teams like the Bulldogs, Parramatta, the Tigers, maybe to a lesser extent, bring is that sort of ethnic vibe to the celebration. A core part of the Bulldog celebration are the drums. And if you know any Arab, if you know any Labo, any Arab in general, right, you know that the drums are a big part of the celebration. No matter what religious denomination you are, you love the drum. You love hearing the tabl. That's what you love hearing. And what's interesting is even the non-ethnic Bulldog supporters get in on the drums. They get in on the drum beat. Like Winston Neville, who we've had on the podcast before, loves the drums, gets involved with the drummers, beats the drum. And for me, like, as long as everybody's safe, right, and everybody's respectful to one another, I love it. Like, it just, what is the harm? What is over the top about it? It's not like we're going out of our way to disturb people. It's not like people, through Belmore are like beeping their horns to tell them to shut up. People are driving through Belmore and telling everybody to amp it up. And, I think, Dibbo's mentioned that it hasn't spilled over into neighbouring suburbs yet. And that's only because we're not in the finals. The expectation or the amount of celebration that we're going to see when the Bulldogs make the final and win their first couple of games, which I anticipate they will, the celebrations are going to be insane. If we make a preliminary final, the whole Canterbury Bankstown area will erupt. There is not going to be a quiet corner of any neighbourhood in Canterbury Bankstown. I guarantee you that, Bill Haig, the mayor, is going to be involved. Someone like Cal Asfour will be involved. All the ex-Bulldogs players are going to be involved. There is going to be celebrations beyond any imagination. And I think it will be bigger than 2004. Oh, it will be bigger than 2004.
If he's make the grand final, definitely, yeah. It definitely will.
I reckon if you make a prelim, it'll be bigger than 2004.
Oh, let's wait to see how it is.
I'm telling you.
But I still remember roads being closed off, cars breaking down because they overheated, and that's how crazy they were going on the burnouts.
Look, when we made the finals in 2004, they painted a car in blue and white after we made the finals. They've already painted a car in blue and white.
I think you put it up.
I'll put it up on our Instagram. A car's already been painted in blue and white with the Doggies logo on it. I guarantee you there's about 2 or 3 more of those cars coming out. There's going to be a whole cavalcade of them.
That generation are the ones that are all kids now, and their kids are either teenagers or the younger ones, and they're the ones going fanatical. But I just want to point out something. I just want to give a special shout out. I got my mate Taj from Yamina who's been messaging me like crazy, but he wants me to give a shout out to Harry Hayes. He thought he's been fantastic for you guys the last month. When he comes on for Sam Hughes or covering for other players as well. I know it's his debut season, but.
Fourth game in rugby league.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I think it's been quite solid. I think Finch will beg to defer, but we'll wait for Finch's objections on that. But what do you guys think?
Look, let's talk about the celebrations. We'll get to Harry Hayes in a minute.
There he goes. Yeah. He's excited.
I am honestly, watching over the news reports of what happened in 2004, even to an extent in 2006 when we got to the semi against Brisbane. it is just one of those things that, and Omar Hayek said it so perfectly.
You're making me feel old. That was
2004 is one of the cool memories I have from my childhood. We didn't go to the game, but we were on the way to Belmore from our house and found the team transferring buses to the open double-decker bus. It was just ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Forever. You still remember 1985, fair income.
That is incredible. That is fantastic. I'm so glad that we've got someone that remembers 1985.
But you know why, Holden? Because you beat your arch rivals St George that year, so that's why it was probably even bigger and better. It would have been very nice. It's always bigger and better when you beat your arch rival.
But I think what Holden's saying is that this will be bigger. This will be bigger than 1985. That will be nothing compared to us if we win in 2024. And I think Jordan's made a very, very good point about the celebrations in 04 is that we were building prior to 2004, whereas in 2024, it's literally gone.
You've done a Penrith.
Right down here, straight up.
But when I mean a Penrith, you've done a Penrith 2003.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they went from last to 14th. They might have done slightly more. You know what? On the terms of signing trajectory, they're pretty similar to you guys. But, I'll just point out in 2000, they had made the finals. And then they went from finals to last to second, 14th to grand final. So, you know what? Your upswing, if he's make the grand final, and if he's were to win it. Oh, John
Sard with the legend.
I couldn't agree with that, but sorry,
you absolute
John.
legend.
But anyway, if you guys make the grand final,
thank you so much for the super chat, bro. You are one of the biggest supporters of our podcast. It means so much to us, bro.
I'll let Elmo finish there, but yeah,
thank you so much, John. Everything just means so much to us, and I want to address this. Jacob Preston for Clive Churchill. That is a great call. That is a great call. I reckon if there's anyone...
Oh, Clive Churchill. I thought you meant Dally M.
No,
sorry. If he's make the grand final and he's a big game player, for me it's either going to be Jacob Kiraz, because that guy doesn't seem to have a bad game, or the other big game player who seems to score in every grand final he plays in, and his name is, drum roll,
Mr. Stephen Crichton.
That's it. I think... what's he scored in 3 grand finals in a row?
Four grand finals in a row.
So he's
could he score in 5 grand finals in a row with 2 different clubs?
I think him scoring 4 in a row is the only second person to do that.
That's right, second person in history to do that. Other was the St George.
Johnny King, Max King's grandfather.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's funny enough. I actually asked Max King outside Belmore a few weeks ago. There's when are you coming home to St George? And he actually admitted his grandfather ribs him about it a few times. So. He's a good signing. He's a good player to have at your club, Max King. It's in his pedigree. He's, people don't realise this, but he's actually 4th generation. And
he actually played very well against the Warriors in his first game back.
Yeah, his great grandfather played for Souths. His grandfather played in those famous St George sides, and then his father played for the Gold Coast.
That's right. Yep.
And then his father went on to play in England as well. And then I think he was born in England. I think right.
He was. Yeah.
And he's eligible to represent England, but. You know what? He's not far off.
Yeah, on his trajectory, he's not far off.
From Origin and,
I honestly thought...
And you know what's funny? England actually turned him around. I shouldn't say funny, but they're lost anyway, so...
Yeah.
He's a good forward.
And look, if you have joined us, if you are joining us or, haven't joined us before, please be sure to give this video the thumbs up, just because it helps boost us in the algorithm. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. And... look, we do have memberships available. Basically, that membership is just $7 a month, and what it does is it helps us pay for the content, helps us pay for the studio and everything that we put out. Honestly, we don't make money from it. It costs us a lot of money, and this membership just helps show us, helps us just cover all the costs and everything that it costs to run. But thank you so much for all your support. Just give it a like and a subscribe. It's good enough for us. But if you do want to become a member, I'll provide the link. Thank you guys for all your support.
Somebody's, your favourite guy, Samir Williams, is asking, where's my coffee? So here's the coffee cup. Look, if anyone's watching and they own a coffee brand and want to sponsor us, just provide their coffee for me to drink on the show. More than happy to do that. Any oty products you guys got, more than happy to just sit here and,
I actually have, maybe not out of the blue, but I actually have a different opinion on who the Clive Churchill medal winner would be for the Bulldogs if we were
Matthew Burton. I already read his mind.
Yes, I think it would be someone like Matt Burton.
I could read you like a book.
Because honestly,
one of those Tintin comics.
I think that Burton's one good finals performance away from proving to everybody that he is the 5'8" that we thought he was 3 years ago.
But he's a premiership winner. He's played State of Origin. The guy performs in big games.
But people still doubt him, and that's what annoys me.
I'll go back to something I said previously, because he was a marquee player in an underperforming side. I wouldn't say underperforming in a side that
No,
at the time was lopsided.
I'm just saying, in a grand final, I would not in any way be surprised to see Matty Burton be crowned the Clive Churchill
He's in the
medalist.
mix. He's definitely in the mix.
Honestly.
I just think someone like Kiraz, a game like that's made for him. Stephen Crichton, he's got, people forget he's got facets of his game that he's underrated. Like he's got this kick that goes into the,
his great chip kick.
It's pinpoint.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. 100%.
He's got a fend, he's got a defense. He seems to get the line when it matters. He's got a flick like, out the back, a pass. He links up.
He's got it all. Now, so we talked about the celebrations. Everyone's for it, and if the other fans don't like it, they can get stuffed. Zach Lives mentioned Critter for Dally M. Look, I agree. And Luke Thompson said Toby Sexton could seriously turn a grand final around. That short kicking game is electric. Can I just tell you, I think it's been 20, like we've said this before, but Toby Sexton's short kicking game is incredible. Bro.
He's growing in confidence.
If you can, you think about our kicking combination of Burton with the long kicks and Sexton with the short kicking game, as a combination, that is one of the most well-rounded kicking combinations in the league. Individually, maybe not, but if you put them as a combination, bro, they are ridiculous. I was watching against the Warriors.
I just want him to mix it up. I don't want it to become predictable where Burton's putting up the long kicks and the high kicks and Sexton's putting in the grubbers and the chips because they're going to expect that. So you also want Burton to jump in there and mix it up so it's second guessing who's going to be doing what.
But Sherry scored one off Burton's short kick.
No, that's great. I'm just saying I don't want them just to stick to one doing long because he's an absolute weapon. We know that.
Well, why I agree with you, but why I think that they've also been accounting for that is if you saw against the Warriors, there were a couple of times where he put in short grubbers early and he got the repeat set 2 or 3 times. And what that did,
I'm glad he's mixing it up.
And you know what
That's
that
what
did
you want.
in the second half? The Warriors, their back five didn't know how to defend or how to counter what Sexton was doing because in the first half he had run them ragged. They had him at 6s and 7s with his kicking game.
Yeah, use the great saying of field goals, 6s and 7s.
That's exactly
hit the money on. You hit it on its head because they're mixing it up. One's doing short. They're both doing short, both doing long. So you're keeping them guessing.
It's fantastic.
Luke Thompson, appreciate you tuning in. I know you're very tired after work and all that. Hopefully the Dogs keep winning for you. If the Dogs hit they are going to hit the finals, but I think we might have to do a special edition with some players on here.
I think that we've got something in the works. Some very, very, very exciting stuff over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Members will find out earlier. They'll get the chance to give us some questions before the players come on. We may even have some live if things work out. So who knows, but we have some really, really special ones. And we may even have a special celebration stream, like a proper final celebration stream after the Cowboys game, right? Just to sort of usher in the Bulldogs back in the finals. Because I can't tell you as a Doggy supporter.
What is that? Just you jumping up and down on camera?
Brother, it could be anything, but it's just going to be a celebration stream. Now, what I want to talk about something very, very quickly, and that is the Cinderella story. In 2002, we had the Cowboys make the finals. In 2023, we had the Warriors. In 2024,
no, sorry, who made it in 2002?
22.
Oh, 22. Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah, that's right.
Made the prelim.
Yeah, that's right.
In 23, it was the Warriors. In 24, it's looking like it's the Bulldogs. Yeah. But as we've seen with both the Cowboys and the Warriors, they weren't able to follow it on. Do you think the Bulldogs? And I'm asking you guys this as well, and I want to know what you guys think. Is this a flash in the pan, or can the Bulldogs sustain this and build on it year on year, unlike the Cowboys and the Warriors?
Definitely, because they're building up a strong squad. They got players coming through as well. The Cowboys, I thought, overachieved.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't just built on defense. It was Canterbury built theirs on defense, but
they actually have better defense than us by 1 point. Believe it or not.
What, this year?
No, in 2022, when they made their run, their defense was almost exactly as good as ours.
Really?
Yeah. On average, their defense was actually exactly as good as ours.
Well, I don't know. It just felt like it just came out of the blue. It's like
Do you think COVID had a part to play in it as well?
possibly, yeah, possibly. But you guys have, I don't know. It just felt like they had the same players there, and then somehow just that's right. They had the same players there. They had Chad Towns in there, who I thought was fluking it, to be honest. And then
They had Drinkwater. They still had Drinkwater.
Drinkwater
Back
was
then.
playing
They
out of his
had
skin.
Tomalolo. They had their props.
I don't know. It just felt like they overachieved. I don't think you guys are over. I don't know. It just feels like
Yeah, because that's my question. Are we overachieving? Like,
you guys have, invested heavily in a lot of players, basically. So you've bought a lot of players from winning cultures, winning backgrounds, whereas their players had been there for a while.
but their players were always Origin players. They were always Origin quality
I don't
players.
know. I mean, I don't know. I just think you guys are in a better position, to be honest. It looks like you guys have had to work hard for it, where it's just felt like some of the stuff they'll do, like, oh, okay, refs calls, lucky.
Do you feel like it's more planned from the Bulldogs? Like, do you feel like there's
It's definitely strategic.
yeah? So there's
It
more of a
definitely is,
strategy
'cause
and
everyone
idea
was like, oh,
behind
look at
it.
these guys. They're buying all the utilities.
Yeah.
I'll put my hand up, and I said the same thing as well. And pretty much everyone has said it. Anyone denying that is just a liar, and their opinion's not worth it anymore if they're going to backtrack and say they didn't. I guarantee 99.999% or 100% of people said, look at them. They purchased too many utilities. And then, Cam Sorrello's where he is for a reason. Phil Good's where he is for a reason. And it's funny, everyone questioned them. People still question Phil Gould, 50 plus years on being in the game.
Yeah.
And that's why they are where they are, and the other people are at home watching on TV and ranting for that reason as well. So,
I mean, Tarek Ahmed, who's a Cowboys supporter, has said that Bulldogs will improve next year. He thinks that Sexton is only just beginning to grow into his boots. I agree. It is a much well-rounded team, but I think if you think about the Warriors and even the Cowboys, they were well-rounded teams. With they lost maybe one or two people, but they couldn't maintain that high trajectory like a Melbourne or a Penrith or even Roosters. So I find that it's one of those things that I guess it is looking a little bit ahead, but it's just one of those questions like, are the Bulldogs a Cinderella story? Can we make it further than both the Cowboys and the Warriors? They made it to a prelim. Can we make it to the grand final?
I thought the Cowboys were going to make the grand final that year, to be honest.
Me too, and I wanted them to.
You know what? Parramatta deservedly so made the grand final that year as well.
Really deservedly?
Yeah, they did. They played well that year.
I thought...
And they were playing good for a few years.
I thought Cowboys were the better team that year.
They were, but then the preliminary final was up in Dairy Farmers, from memory. There was conjecture around that pass and that, but I thought Parramatta played better that day. It was good they made the grand final. Either way, I thought Penrith was still going to be too strong on that day, whoever they played.
I agree. Penrith weren't going to lose that.
Not taking anything away from Parramatta, but they deserved to make that grand final. And just as if North Queensland had won that game, they would have deserved to be there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair comment. I think it's interesting. Tarek Ahmed said the only reason I question Phil Gould is because he once compared Jamie Soward to
Is that when
Jonathan
Penrith
Thurston.
signed Jamie Soward?
I don't know. That's a good. Tarek,
Because I'll tell you what, when Jamie signed, Penrith had been in the doldrums for a while. Jamie's signing there, they finally needed that experienced playmaker, helped attract a few more players. And if you remember that year, a young Penrith side with, I think, an 18 or 19-year-old Nathan Cleary.
Yeah, that's right.
Made the preliminary final, I think it was. I think it was the preliminary final, yeah.
It was when he signed it. Tarek is saying it was when he signed with Penrith.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know what? It was actually a good shout by Phil Gould. Obviously, it was just trying to, you do what you do. When you work for a club, you talk them up as much as you can.
It's true.
And, you hear him talk up to Canterbury now and,
Well, actually, what's interesting is that
But I love how
Phil
Phil Gould talks everyone up.
hasn't been talking up the Bulldogs.
No, what I mean is not overzealously or anything, but he's proud of the Bulldogs club. Like, he'll talk up, for example, a player they're bringing up for the junior system or
I mean,
a
for
player
sure.
you guys signed. He proudly talks about him.
But I feel like he's been like when on the Feel Good podcast, for example, when he gets asked about the Bulldogs, he almost understates what the Bulldogs are achieving.
He talks proudly about the club, though.
He does talk proudly about what they've achieved, but it's always very understated because he knows that the job's not done and that there's a lot more to go. So I think there's that. Billy, the producer, just mentioned
don't
that
believe
even,
that turncoat.
even Buzz Rothfield speaks proudly about the Bulldogs.
One side I really want Canterbury to flog in the finals, it's the Cronulla Sharks. So that flog, just so his side can get hammered, basically.
I agree. But you mentioned something about, people were doubting Ciraldo and Gus And I think it's interesting that people kept saying, can Gus and Ciraldo work together? Can Ciraldo do this? Can Ciraldo do that? I think it's very, very clear that Ciraldo is his own man. Ciraldo makes his own calls, and Gus Gould knows not to get involved.
You know what? It's crazy people think Gus gets involved. Far from it. He's just there. He's an old, experienced head.
You'd be stupid not to ask him for
He's there,
advice.
And you know what? He can come in and put his opinion in, but he's there just, you take it, you don't, who cares?
You're the
he's not
coach.
fussed.
Yeah.
He knows his role.
Yeah.
He knows Cam's role. He knows every person's role there. So, the guy's been around for 50 years as a player, as a coach, as a commentator, as an administrator. He's done it all. What an asset to have at the club.
Bro, it's amazing. And I think, he does cop a lot of criticism, which and fairly, I'm not saying he's he's perfect, but I think that that criticism also needs to, or the people that criticize need to also admit that he's also one of the, for any club to have Phil Gould is an absolute win and absolute asset. And, it's one of those things that, Gus and Ciraldo are building a very, very, very nice combination there alongside Adam Drusy and John Curry sort of leading the charge. And then you've got Gus working on the juniors, and you've got Ciraldo coaching the NRL team. And you've got Travis Tuma under Ciraldo. I think that the way the organisation is working is just, they found the recipe for success. And I think, as you mentioned before, when the front of office is good, or the back of office is good, the front is good.
Just call it the front house.
When the admin side is good, the front of it is good. And so I think it's one of those great positions for the club to be in. Now,
I just want to jump in, and I might be off topic, but is there any talk of who Canterbury are looking to recruit next year? I know they want to go one forward or something like that, but is there anything anywhere they've identified they want players or anything like that?
So the Bulldogs are not willing to pay overs for anyone.
But is there a position thereafter? It's a front man, forward?
So I know that earlier in the year, they were still looking for a 7, believe it or not.
Probably hold off that for now.
I think the club knows that, or they weren't sure if Sexton could come back to first grade and prove...
He's steering the ship at the moment.
Prove what he can do. He's come, and he's proven to them that he's here to lay claim to the 7 for a long time, and he's only 23 years old.
Anyone else?
I know
7. I meant like any other position. Are you still going for that middle prop forward?
I mean, if one comes on the,
I think there is, and I actually think this guy will suit your club.
Who's that?
He doesn't seem like he's bad news or anything, but I read Leo Thompson
from the Knights.
Knights might be tapped on the shot, and I can't understand why.
No, actually, he doesn't want to stay.
I feel like he's a 60 or 70 minute forward. For some reason, that guy uses his forwards in 30 or 40 minutes all up.
Because he's got too many. He doesn't know how to use them.
And he's losing the side feet. Who do you want there?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
And you know what? All right, Saifidi might come for a hefty price tag, but I can bet you that starting number 10, Leo Thompson, and he seems like he's an absolute workhorse. And he was killing it last year when he was getting more game time, as were the Saifidis in preceding seasons. I think he'll come at a good price tag for Canterbury. I reckon he's got that. I think he suits the Canterbury mongrel. It seems like he's that sort of player that suits the Canterbury, I'll sure say the Canterbury breed, if you want to use that. He seems that sort of player.
Look, I'm with you, and
he's an angry-looking sort of mongrel sort of player. He's big, he's tall, he's mobile. His brother's an All Black, maybe, or junior All Black, whatever you want to say. Maybe he can bring his brother along as well.
I saw that. I saw that he's potentially going to go to the market when he does.
I know Canterbury's got some money to splurge, and I know if he's going to market, what's he going to command? 400, 450. I think Canterbury can stump that.
I think with the potential of the Perth team coming in and with not as many forwards being on the market, I do think they'll command a bit more money than that.
But the Perth team's still 3 years away.
Yeah, but people want to sign people up and lock them up long term.
Yeah, that's all right. He can come to Canterbury for 3 years. He might like it and stay there. And, Canterbury, so what? Canterbury can get him for 3 years. I'll get 3 great years out of him. He's in his peak of his powers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
Look, I think it'll be a great buy. I mean, I don't know if the club's going to go, but if you look at, like we said this last week, if you look at the props that the Bulldogs do have, right, we've got King, Hughes, we've got Curran that can do a job there. We've got Moran.
And and they're all in the prime.
Tom Amon.
Or they're about to hit their prime.
Tom Amon. We've got Daniel Saluka Fafita. We've got Underhill. We've got Seve coming through. We've got Pawasa Farmasuli. We've got Hayes. So I think like
that's your forward pack for the next 5 years plus.
Yeah, I don't.
They're in a good position. You lose a few, no doubts about it.
Absolutely, but I also think that don't forget we've got Jack Todd, we've got Lipoi, Hopoi. We've also got like someone like Kiriani Katonga.
So you've just now ticked off, and it's great news for you guys. But not only you got your core top 30 that are all in their prime or coming into their prime, you've now just described to me that the junior base from reserve grade to what is it, 21s now?
Yep.
To the 19s. There's a whole great production line coming through that as long as the front of house, the senior management and the coaching staff, managing the club properly and the roster properly, it seems like you guys are now set for the next 10 for 15 years.
And in many positions too.
Minimum.
And in many
as long
positions
as you keep that formula going, you could be set for the next 20, 25 years. Yeah, sure, maybe once every 10 years or 15 years you might have one, mediocre season.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected, Or you might have 20 years of sustained finals, for example. Only, but that's just that honestly is music to Canterbury fans' ears because he's got a forward pack coming to its own, yet to hit its prime, or now making finals. And he just described to me players that will be there for the next 10 years right after. So he's just set for 10, 15 years.
Oh, man. It's
having a good core of players attracts other players.
And
they're about to become the super club you guys once were.
And if you look at what we are sort of hoping to achieve and who we're bringing in, like don't forget we've also got Sitili Tupanua coming to us from the Roosters.
Yeah.
Right. So
I just think Leo Thompson will be a great addition. And look, obviously hold him forever.
He's always the forgotten man, Carl Olawapu.
Yeah, that's right.
Bro.
But that's great. That's great
even,
stuff.
Yeah.
How good's that? Man, I wish I had the luxury at St. George. At St. George, I'll tell you what's happening at St. George because, their finals hopes are ticking like this cloud, I don't know. I just saw this next to me at the moment.
Bring it forward. Put it in front of the iPad.
But like...
Bring it in front of the iPad.
Think about it. It's just, it's ticking, like they blew a great chance against Cronulla, but I'll just point out with St. George, like they got players there that, just show you that leaps and bounds the difference between Canterbury and St. George at the moment. With Canterbury, the only player I probably hear Canterbury fans complaining about, but less every week is Jamin Salmon. 1 out of 30. At St. George, for example, Blake Laurie needs to go. This player needs to go. The Finney twins after the weekend need to go. At Canterbury, I'm not hearing that noise. What a great feeling. And then he's got those juniors. And every year you have 2 or 3 that's going to come up and be part of your top 30. Like, what a great feeling.
And you know what's
at
interesting?
our club, we're waiting to get rid of the say the disposals. I don't want to use any condescending words because they are first graders. They are professionals. They're the elite. But, it's a competitive to play a top spot. St. George got good juniors coming through, but they seem to lose them. Like, look at Manly Sea Eagles, Ruben Garrick, Jason Saab. I forgot who else. All were St. George juniors playing for Manly now. Like, they don't know how to retain it. We got a poor management at the club. Can you imagine? You live on the South Coast. That stadium's on the water. The South Coast is there. Kiama, Gerringong. Like, wouldn't you be able to attract players for the lifestyle down there?
That's why I don't understand.
I don't understand. Who's managing that club? And it's funny. I overheard someone, and he's I think he's a radio, personality or something. I overheard him as I was going past. He was complaining ever since the merger, and I think he was having a go at the Illawara side. But honestly, ever since that merger, the club management stinks. I don't care they won 1 grand final. Thank you, Wayne Bennett. It was only because of Wayne Bennett that we won that. I mean, otherwise, we'd be looking since 1979 still, which is 45 years or something.
You'd be worse than the Parramatta Eagles.
But, St. George, as a standalone club, was managed much better. They were making finals regularly. They were doing well financially. We didn't have as big a junior base as Canterbury, but you get me, they were one of the preeminent clubs in Sydney. Ever since the merger, what are we? Anyway, back to topic about Canterbury, because nobody cares about St. George, right?
And look, at the beginning of the year, people were saying, can Moran cut it as a prop? No one's saying that anymore.
I'm going to put my hand up again. I was one of those critics again. And again, he answered his critics. He silenced them. This is why he's
actually been on fire the last few weeks. Bro, he's a Bulldog through and through, bro. Do you remember his uncle, Brad Moran?
Yeah, I remember Moran. He's more deadly than his uncle.
He's much better than his uncle.
He's got hair as well. His uncle was bold.
Much better than his uncle.
Can I point out something like, I don't know, what do you call him? The Chihuahua? What breed?
I think he's a
I was
Chihuahua,
going to say
bro.
the French
He's-
Bulldog. Unless, if he's got French...
Hey, Morin, no disrespect if you're watching. We absolutely love you, but you know what you are? You are the deadly Chihuahua.
have they nicknamed him the Axe? Because he almost...
Honestly,
He's hit some hard tackles around the midriff. Like,
He does
obviously
remind us
not
of
not
Gilmeister,
Gilmeister effectiveness, you know, but around the mid, I've seen him absolutely chop people. His powerful runs up the middle. You know, what do you eat for breakfast every day? I just want to know. Like,
he's
he
incredible.
rockets up the middle.
Yeah, he's free. And he's so small, and you always find he beats the first defender, which I find, like, for a dude so small,
Can
like,
he play in the back line? I'm sure he could.
bro, I reckon he would absolutely kill it in the back
I
line.
reckon multiple
Imagine
people in
him
centres.
the back line. But I mean, who do you get rid of in the back line? That's the thing.
Jacob
Hey,
Kiraz, I'm only kidding.
like, you look at even someone like you know, Harry Hayes. The bloke's played 4 games. He's averaging 150 meters. He was a bloody winger 2 years ago. He was a winger. Now he's coming on as a prop. Like, if that doesn't scream belief, if that doesn't scream to you absolute attitude, I don't know what
I
does.
can see some challenges coming to Canterbury in coming seasons, similar to what Perev's had. You
Oh,
will... No,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you will have players lose...
It's already happened.
You will
We've
start losing
lost JR
players.
Skelton to the Tigers because they need a good back.
Yeah, you will lose players that you guys have developed to other clubs, or you know they've had a second chance at your club, and they've you will lose players to other clubs that will pay more. It's not them players being disloyal. It's similar to, say, for example, me. I had my LinkedIn profile up for 2 weeks, and all the offers I was getting in and all that was through the roof. I took it down, you know, because I wanted to be at the same company for the next 3 years. They are looking after me. I've gotten an upgrade, for example. You don't get your upgrade, you're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, 100.
After a few years, 2-3 years, you'll wait. But after that, man, you want to set yourself up for life.
Actually, I have a very funny story, and this involves pissing off Parramatta fans. So I think you guys will like this one, right? So basically, I think it's called Talking Parramatta or Parramatta Eels supporters or something. Some
Is this a
Facebook page.
podcast?
That's a Facebook page, right?
Oh, right.
And they put up that Blake Wilson is on the outer at the Bulldogs, and the Eels are looking to sign him because he's on the outer. So I went in there and I said, look, the only reason you guys think he's on the outer is because you guys are desperate, but we want Wilson and we want to keep Wilson. And the butthurt Eels fans, the fact that I called them desperate, they could not handle it. The amount of hate that I copped, right? Because I made that one comment. There was, like, no joke. There was about 50 comments just telling me, you know, leave. This is, you know, it's not your page. You know, go back to your own page. I could not get over how butthurt and how funny it was. It was so funny.
Well, you're a pest.
It was amazing. I freaking loved it. They could not handle it. I honestly, I just wanted to make a comment and engage in some banter. And the way they were so upset, it you know what? It nourished my soul seeing the Parramatta Eels fans so upset.
Oh, you know what? They're actually
so wholesome.
Silent at the moment because they're lowly. You guys are in the finals. That hurts them.
And you know what's funny, right? Breed Marnie left them in 2022 after the grand final, and all the Eels fans were like, oh, he's never going to play in another final. He's never going to this. What's interesting is they're fighting for the spoon right now, and the Bulldogs are on their way to a really good final series. And
they're a sinking ship.
Oh my God!
You know, see if Riles can, you know, resurrect them, but they're a sinking ship.
He's got a big job. I think he'll be great, but he's got a big job ahead of him.
You know, just on that, so you know, the good thing is Canterbury's, you know, what's the word? Safe-proofed themselves. So they got they haven't paid overs for anyone.
No one, not a single player.
They got room in the cap, so players do leave, and then they also got players on the production line. You know, it's a great formula to have. So, you know, Canterbury fans, I'm just saying it now, and you know, the older, especially, it's probably more aimed at the younger ones. Don't be disappointed if somebody leaves. Be happy that your club's, you know, trying to safe-proof itself. There's a host of talent in that reserve grade side. I'd say there's probably 5 or 6 players in your reserve grade from what I've seen would be regulars at other sides. So, you know, like, you're safe-proofing yourself. And then there's kids or fringe reserve graders that should be playing regular reserve grade, and they're only 18 years old. They get their chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and they'll only grow, and some of those will be first graders. So, times for Canterbury Bulldogs, I'm telling you now.
It's on the way up for sure. Guys, if you are new here or if you haven't done so yet, just give this video a thumbs up. click on subscribe, click the bell icon if you do want to be notified for
Yep.
all of our new videos. That really helps us just jump in the algorithm. And look, we do have memberships option. So if you do want to become a member, it just helps us pay for the podcast. You do get some perks if you do join the live streams, or if you consume our content, you'll get it a little bit earlier. Or when we do get guests on, you have the opportunity to ask some questions before they come on. So if you do, you can become a member. Now,
I just want to point out Defiant updates. I think we met that kid. Was that the kid that we met at Belmore?
No, it's a different kid.
So who was Defiant Updates? Somebody said his name. I think we were walking. I think I was walking on there and he told me who he was. Anyways, look, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Chip 98, please don't spam in the chat. We'll get to yours as soon as
I'll just point out something. Who do I want Canterbury to play in the first week of the finals? So they do finish 5th. Obviously, I love them to play the Dragons. The Dragons got it against it. They got their backs to the walls now. It's hard. I know they're playing last, but it's last away, and Para seem to get a lot of calls at Combank. It's against the Dragons. I always got this feeling that the NRL's got a vendetta at the moment against the Dragons to not let them make that, because they have been dreadful. They probably want they want Brisbane to be in there. That's so.
All right, so
I'll tell you why I'd love to play the Dragons, because hey mate, that week the rivalry will be great, and it's going to be at Accor, and I know for a fact we're getting at least 50,000 for week 1 of the finals.
No, I reckon if we get less than 65, we're kidding ourselves.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying
we won't get less.
We've got a massive fan base, and the Roosters and the South fans can choke on their vomit.
No,
or actually, that's another reason why I want the Dragons to make the finals, so they can play Canterbury and show. Who are the top 4 sides in Sydney? I've always been of the belief Canterbury, St George, Tigers, and Para. When they're going great, the crowd's up, the ratings are up. It's a better product, Not when the favourite Souths and Roosters getting a push from the NRL and their broadcasters. No one gives a shit about those latte sippers.
Yeah.
Who don't even watch footy for most of the time anyway.
So what happened there against the Sharks? You guys were in Wynn Stadium. You guys usually play well there. You had every opportunity to cement your position in the top 8, and you poo-peed yourselves. You absolutely shit the bed. What happened? I know the Fine brothers are not full-time first graders.
I just want to point out something. Our forward pack's not strong compared to... I keep pointing out this. I don't even know how they're in the top 8.
Your forward pack has more experience and more ability than ours.
Yeah, but hang on a sec. Blake Laurie...
he's the only one.
What do you mean? He's not even our best forward. He's probably our worst forward.
He is your worst forward. That's my point. You guys have DeBellin, you have Molo, right?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, Jack DeBellin, honestly, week in, week out, is probably our only forward really, performing.
And he starts him on the bench.
Yeah, up against... he's probably got a reason for that. I'm not going to question it, Flanagan. I mean, honestly, look at their roster. Who have they signed from last year? This is how significant it is that he's brought them from 16th to 8th. Honestly, who has he signed?
Look, it's a good point.
Honestly,
but I'm comparing them to the Dogs, and I think that
he won't be coach of the year, but I can see him probably being in that standings. No word of a lie.
Oh no, he's
probably about 4th or 5th.
No word of a lie. Very deserving of it, 100%.
No, he's not coach of the year. He's hardly made signings. He's had to pick up a side full of buttercups and car crashes from the last 2 coaches. And he's hardly had to get any signings. His only signings are probably players that used to play for the club. Leilua and Sele. And Sele's hardly played this year. And Leilua came in late. And he's taken a while to get his fitness. But honestly, and he's got Raymond Faitala Mariner. How was Faitala Mariner? 30, 31?
I think he's maybe 29, 30.
30, 31. He's on the back end of his career. And he's also missed half the games as well. He's had to tweak here and there and maybe play negative football here and play condensed football here for a reason. Because he knows the side's ability is limited. But he wants them going forward. It's not a crash out roster. Look at our backline. You got young Tyrell Sloan, who's got the water on his shoulders, and I'll tell you what, that kid's doing, he's holding it up.
He's doing well.
He's still got deficiencies, but you're only great. You got Lomax, he's great.
It's fantastic. And you're losing him.
Sully's injured here and there, but he's been great.
He's been your best all year.
But then the fill-ins are just would they even play first grade at other sides? And then you got Ben Hunt, and then find him a half to play, because he keeps putting his son there. The other half that should be playing Marshke, when he does play, they win. And then when his son's fit, or when it's not Origin, he plays his son there. And Marshke, she's picked up hamstring injuries 6 to 8 weeks this year. He's missed. And then you got the forward pack, besides Jack DeBellin and maybe Law and some other players here.
Hey, I think Molo's been good for you, man.
Not impactful, no.
I disagree. I think he runs hard enough.
He runs hard enough. No. He puts one big shot on. He'll run, make him maybe 90 meters, but honestly,
I think he needs
not,
to work.
He's not sustaining
It's
it.
fitness. It's fitness.
He's not. No. That's his ability. He's limited. That's all he's going to get to. You got the young Couchman twins.
Like, amazing.
Next year they'll be a lot better.
They'll be amazing.
They're good. They're good coming off the bench, but honestly, no.
Were they? So I was talking to my wife, who's a Dragon supporter, and apparently weren't the Couchman twins Bulldog supporters when they were younger?
I don't know, but I know they're Thurul Butcher kid. No, they're actually Dragons boys. They're from Thurul. I think they're.
I thought they were Bulldog supporters when they were younger.
They might be, but they're.
I read it somewhere. I don't know, but then she's telling me them.
They're from Thurul. They're local juniors down there, which is great. The Finney twins are juniors, but that was very.
I think
poor.
they're backups at best.
Tyrell Sloan's a junior. Jack Bird's a junior, but he's getting on. I think he apparently his talks have stalled. Maybe they want him to stay.
He's not being offered enough by the Tigers, and so his contract is more at the Dragons, so he just wants to stick it out.
You know,
for
he's doing
2025.
right at 5'8".
I don't think he's too bad. Honestly, I reckon he's probably better than Kyle. I mean, with all due respect.
Of course he is.
With all due respect.
It's not even an argument.
All right, so let me put this to you, right? If you guys beat the Eels this week, you guys are in the 8.
Oh, you know, I'll be mad if all the other sides competing for the 8 lose and the Dragons win. You know, and then we can build up to the euphoria.
No, but
then I can start throwing taunts at Canterbury.
one of the Broncos and the Dolphins will be able to overcome you guys if you don't win against the Eels this week.
You know, I'll be mad if they draw.
They won't draw.
That'll be hilarious. And then the Knights go and lose.
It's going to be a big game in Brisbane, all right? And both these teams hate each other. I reckon that the Broncos are going to lose this one. I don't think the Broncos are. Kevy reckons they're going to make the 8. Bro, if they make the 8, I'll eat this cup. They're not going to make the 8.
You know what's funny? And if they make that, they'll probably be battered and bruised because Melbourne's resting its players this week against the Cowboys because Bellamy wants to get them ready for the last round.
So, look.
I don't want Brisbane to make it.
They don't deserve to be there. I don't think they've played anywhere near good enough footy to be there. And
I'd just like to see different sides in the 8.
I want to see the Dragons in the 8.
It's been, how long? 5-6 years? It's been a long time.
But look, over the year, sure, they've been
6 years.
inconsistent, but they've played better than the Broncos. I think they've been a lot better than the Knights. I think the Raiders are another team that...
No, I don't want... I mean, that's it. I think their chance is foregone.
I think
they've got a hard run anyway. Who are they playing?
I don't know if... They're playing you guys in the last round.
But who they're playing this week?
I'm not sure, to be
Is
honest.
Is it the Cowboys?
No, this week. I'm not sure.
Or the Roosters. The Roosters. They got the Roosters.
Oh, yeah, they do. They do.
You know, and they got a Roosters missing a few players, but it might be... I hope the Roosters just towel them up and...
But the thing is, the good thing about the Raiders is they have a good forward pack. Brian said he wants to see the Broncos make it, to see me eat that cup. Bro, honestly, I think that the Broncos and Kevy... I think Kevy's got this whole trying to... You know, this whole bullshit about, you know, you gotta visualize what you want to achieve. Get out of here, bro. Unfortunately, his team's just not up to it this year. I don't think they will make it. Kevy.
I hope they don't make it. We will play finals.
Apparently, Reece Walsh might come back this week as well. But even then,
you know what? I want the Dolphins to win now. I had it.
Yeah, me too.
After all that shit and everyone wanting the Dragons to lose,
I would rather the Dolphins see
the Dragons to win this week, and I want all the teams in the contention to make it. Well, the Broncos and Dolphins game can be a draw, and the other ones in contention can all go lose, so they can just go home, piss off, and yeah.
All right, so I want to quickly talk about a couple of things. First, I want to talk about the Dogs versus Manly, right? Now,
I'd love to see Manly get demolished.
What I think is very interesting about the Dogs versus Manly. Sorry, guys, my battery, the battery on the laptop has died, so I've got to just quickly look at my phone. I
just spilled water on the table.
Oh, you're a genius. Dogs v Manly. What I think is very, very interesting is the team list, right? Now, I find Seabold. I honestly, I don't know how some of these coaches continue to get continue to get coaching jobs. Hey, Jim, how you doing? So, you know, they've got a fairly decent backline, a very, very quick backline, but I think a backline that struggles to defend. They've got Jason Saab, they've got Tom Trbojevic, who is a known quantity. They've got Jason Saab, Tommy Talau, Ruben Garrick, and Lehigh Hopewadi. In and of themselves, they're not a bad backline, but I think that they do struggle in defense, and they are not a exceptionally I want to say smart backline. They're not a great backline. They're a good backline, but nothing that our boys can't defend very well against. And if you look at Sherry coming up against someone like Tommy Talau, And Kiraz coming up against Ruben Garrick. I think that we've actually got their measure, except in the fullback rank.
Could I just reconfirm? Who's playing in the centres again?
For
Kiraz?
Yeah, Kiraz and Sherry.
Yeah, all right.
And it's interesting, Kiraz, centre is actually his preferred position.
No one else out of the blue in the team?
No, so backline is as per
Curran's
usual.
back.
Yeah, so Curran's on the bench in place of Kurt Mann. So our bench is Bailey Hayward, Curtis Moran, Harry Hayes and Josh Curran, and Jamie Salmon starts at lock, which, to be honest...
Who's your second row?
Preston and Kikau.
Yeah, I think you guys... I'll be surprised. I reckon you guys can be miserly. I mean, you guys should be getting miserly in defence. I know Manly's got good attacking prowess, but when you have people like Jason Saab dropping the ball 3 times in 1 minute, got nothing to worry about, boys. Plus, he's up against the Fox, so he's guys got plenty of speed there. So I know Manly's got speedsters in Kula and Garrick and Saab and Trebojevic, but you guys also got your strike weapons as well, and he's got more damaging runners. I'll be surprised if your defence doesn't hold up because it's pretty much held up the whole year. It's going to be a great game on, Friday night? 6 o'clock? 35,000 plus?
Yeah, so they're anticipating...
What a club, eh? 35,000 plus, merchandise selling out.
We just can't find merchandise.
It's going to be a boom for the Canterbury club. I read somewhere during the week, I was just having a look, it kind of like slipped under the radar, but Canterbury bought into a shopping centre, I think somewhere on the Central Coast, was it?
Yeah, that's right. So the league's club's trying to move away from relying on the pokies.
And they're going into real estate and shopping centres.
They're going into real estate, which is very smart.
They bought a $50 million shopping centre to add to the real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mate. Great stuff.
Now, what I find interesting is their forward pack is... They have the opportunity to have a much bigger, much more dangerous forward pack. And they're going,
Manly?
Yeah. So their forwards are Taniela Paseka. They've got Lachlan Croker at 9, who I think is great. Then they've got Nathan Brown. And I think the only good one they've got there, the only good ones they have there. So on the bench. Aloye is on the bench, but he's this, right? They've got Taniela Paseka and then Homolu Alakwatu. They're the only two that stand out for me.
Is Alakwatu playing?
He's at 11.
Who got suspended?
No one? Just Corey Waddell.
Oh, that's all right.
So they've got Taniela Paseka, Lachlan Croker, Nathan Brown, Homoli Olakwatu, Ben Trebojevic, and Jake Trebojevic. I think that is a really poor second row, other than Homoli Olakwatu. I don't think Ben Trebojevic is that great, and Jake Trebojevic runs like he's running in sand.
I think their main threat to you guys is their backline, but like I said, if the forwards aren't going forward, I like to see you guys batter them. They'll... just reinforce your premiership credentials. If you batter the side 1 or 2 spots below you, that again shows.
I think Skelton is going to absolutely.
I think you guys can scar Manly as well.
I reckon Skelton's going to play out of his skin. I think we're going to see something really special from Skelton. I reckon he's going to put on a couple of big hits, but he's going to make. I reckon he runs for 300 meters in this game. I reckon he runs for at least 300 meters. And the other one, like if you look at their bench, even their bench doesn't really look as big as I would expect. Like so, they've got. Tolotau Kula on the bench. They've got Josh Aloye.
Kula on the bench?
Yeah.
So who's starting?
Why
would you have Kula on the bench?
They've got Ethan Bullymore and Matt Lodge. Lodge hasn't played first grade for a while.
I saw him on his social post. He had stitches underneath his, I think his left eye or something. Is that a training accident or something? I think it might have been.
And they've left Tofafoa Sipley out. They've left Carl Lawton out. And they've left Gordon Chankum Tong out. Which for me is like...
Interesting.
It is interesting, but for me, if you have like Sipley there, right, in place of Lodge, I think it's better. Or if you have Lodge and you leave Cooler out, he's another
prop. Why is Cooler on the bench? What's he going to play?
Yeah, that's what I like. I feel like Seabold doesn't really get it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he really doesn't get it. And that's why I don't...
I think he's just playing around the lineup unnecessarily. All right, Lodge in addition's good.
But he hasn't played first grade for a while.
Who's the wing? He's got to come back in sooner or later. Who's the wings and the centres again? Can you repeat that?
So it's Tommy Turbo, Jason Saab, Tommy Tolau, Ruben Garrick, and Lehigh Hopewadi.
Oh, Hopewadi.
I rate Lehigh Hopewadi. I think he's very quick, good, but he's also very young and very small.
I'd go Cooler in the centre.
Like coming up against Josh Adokar, I think will be tough for Lehigh Hopewadi. But then on the other side, similarly, like Gerald Skelton against Jason Saab. I think it'll be. I think it could be the other way. It'll be Fox up against Saab and Skelton up against Hopewadi, which I think is going to be a great matchup.
And Garrick?
Garrick.
Is he on Saab's side, is he?
Yes. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
No,
Even
he's on
better.
Hopewadi's
Oh,
side.
beautiful. He's going to batter him.
So he'll be up against Kiraz.
No, that's good.
Anyway,
That's
point
good.
is,
They're going to be a handful on that side.
I just reckon, I think our team, over the way we've performed, I think we will outplay them. We'll suffocate them in defense. And you've got Curran coming off the bench, which for me is like, it's just so ridiculous how good they are. It's just so ridiculous, like how much he adds.
You just want to
the
win this
team.
game.
Oh, we will win this game. I don't think we're going to lose at home this year. I reckon we win the next two, which sort of brings me to my next. Look, I'm calling Dogs 13+. I reckon Dogs 13+. I think that Seraldo knows that at Accor Stadium, the fans want to see us win, and we're going to win well. Now, my last sort of point is, where do I see the Bulldogs finishing? Do you think the Bulldogs make the top 4?
Yes, hang on a sec. Who's Penrith's last 2 games? And I'll tell you now.
So, if we look at the draw, Penrith are versing the Rabbitohs.
Yep.
And then they are playing
I know
the Titans.
Oh, nice. All right. And then, although Penrith should win both. I know the Roosters got Canberra, and I don't even know who they got last round.
The Sharks.
Got Manly?
The Sharks are playing the Warriors.
Yep.
And then they're playing Manly.
All right. And the Roosters got who?
The Roosters have
Touch and go, man. He's got
Raiders and Rabbitohs.
I think your best bet is probably Cronulla getting upset by Manly.
Yeah.
Because, that game, Manly normally performs in that game. Is Nico Hines back this week?
I think he's been named in the 22.
Jeez, it must be a really serious injury.
So, it's one of those things. I reckon it comes down to the very last
round.
It's going to come down to the last game.
The least you guys can do is win both.
If we win,
you guys are just 2 points behind fourth and third and second.
Yeah, so we're 2 points behind.
All right.
So if any of those teams trip up, we're in. And our points.
Is it better than Penrith? Similar to Cronulla's went further ahead after that win.
Yeah, against the Dragons. Couldn't do us any favours.
But if you guys just smash your remaining sides and they win close, or they win close one and lose the other one, then it slips back in your favour.
Yeah, I mean it could be, but do we want to be fourth or do we want to be fifth? Because if we come up, if we're fifth, we come up against potentially the Dragons.
You want to win fourth? I'll tell you why. Because you guys shown that he's got the ability to beat the top 4 sides, and it doesn't seem to phase you whether you guys are playing at home or away, and who the opposition is. So I'd say you want to finish top 4. Give the players the extra confidence going in. Potentially get a week off and a home preliminary final.
Yeah.
Regardless, anyway, I think even if they make the preliminary finals, I think there's a massive chance to even have it at Accor anyway.
Yeah, we'll probably be at Accor Allianz.
Unless I've got a feeling the Roosters will have a whinge. If you're playing the Roosters, for example, in a prelim, I think they'll have the biggest crowd to make sure. Well, it will be at Allianz anyway.
We'll still get more supporters there than them.
Yeah, but they'll have the biggest whinge to ensure it's not at an 83,000 seater. Just so so the NRL, the rugby league world can miss out on an extra 38,000 fans and extra revenue just to benefit them. So so that's one of them. Penrith game. If you were to play Penrith in the preliminary final, it's definitely at Accor. We think about it. If you're going to make it the grand final, you play in the grand final because you're good enough, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Right. So you're a 50% chance, regardless if you finish top 4 or not. If you make the preliminary final, it's a massive chance. It's a 75% chance, I'll say it this way, that it's in Sydney, whether it's Allianz or Accor. And then it's a 50% chance it's going to be at Accor. Think about it.
Yeah.
I reckon if you were to play Cronulla in a preliminary final, they'd also want to have it at Allianz as well.
Because you couldn't have it at Shark Park. Honestly.
But you're going to sell it out. It's just madness not to have it at Accor.
Honestly.
And why would you forego the extra 20, 30?
And I think the first game in the final series will show a lot. That's what I think. And the NRL will be forced to act on what the crowds are demanding. Because if it sells out really quickly,
if they really got their shit together, that St. George game versus Canterbury, week, they had more than a week's notice. They could have turned around and said, guys,
it's all right. It is what
let's
it is.
move it to this stadium, to a certain stadium. But anyway,
yeah. So Jamie Teasdale, member for a month. Thank you so much for your membership. We are the team that can upset a lot of teams from now on. I think that we are absolutely the dark horse. I think anybody that doesn't believe we are the dark horse is kidding themselves and doesn't watch enough footy. I think Manly have shown that they don't have the capacity to be consistent and they don't have the mental tenacity to defend against good teams. Even on a bad day for the Bulldogs, we leaked less points against the Roosters, who are absolutely blowing teams away, than Manly did. And we had a lot of our players missing. We are definitely the dark horse. I can't wait to see this Friday. By the way, let us know in the comments if you are going to the game this Friday at 6. The Manly against Manly at 6 p.m. I hate the.
I'd love to go but I won't be able to
make
make
the 6 p.m. Work is very difficult. It's just impossible.
I have to cover out work. I actually won't knock off to about 6.
It's just such a difficult time to be.
I would love to go. Just sit there amongst the fans and the atmosphere and. I don't know, get stuck in some El Chana crispy chicken burgers whilst the game's going.
Are the Dogs going to finally win? The Dragons finally going to win to make the 8 or what?
Are they going to finally win at CommBank Stadium? Hopefully.
Are they finally going to win at CommBank?
It's worrying because it's at CommBank. Para seems to always get the calls against us there. Honestly, we never seem to get the calls against Para. It's ridiculous. Like, when's the NRL going to stop this vendetta against us with certain sides and the refs and that at certain grounds? Like, honestly, let us make the finals, you pricks. Anyways,
Jim Watkins, really appreciate you being on the podcast. Who do you support? Because you said massive respect to the Bulldogs. They really have come a long way. They may make the grand final every 10 years or so. It's great to see them there. Respect. Thank you so much for the kind words and thank you for being here on the podcast. Yeah, just interested to know who you support.
Who's this?
Jim Watkins.
Is he asking me?
No, I'm asking him.
Oh,
who does he support? Because he doesn't. I assume he's not a Bulldog supporter. Holden Forever, you're going to be at the next 2 games. Jim Watkins is a diehard Broncos supporter since 1990.
Sorry, mate, we've been trashing your side, but so the Dragons can make the top 8. But yeah,
Jim, do you think that the Broncos will beat the Dolphins this week to give their top 8 hopes alive?
I want to ask him a question after he answers this. But I mean, Jim, if we get a third Brisbane side in the NRL, for example, Brisbane East or the Ipswich Jets, for example, how would that impact the Broncos? Can they still get decent crowds? I reckon they'll have another maybe 8 to 10K shaved off again because honestly, I know for a fact, and I've got friends and co-workers that live up, because head office is up in the Sunshine Coast, but I've got co-workers that seem to go to 2 games a week there. A lot of Brisbane fans are doubling up going to Redcliffe games, and Redcliffe fans are doubling up going to Broncos games. But I know that won't happen. They'll eventually stop. But can a third team, is that really going to impact the Brisbane Broncos? I reckon it will because there's no way those sort of fans are going to sustain going to 3 games a week. Like, I reckon people will then just start staying loyal to one side once they've got their feet implanted in.
The way I look at it,
I don't think so.
Is that I think Queensland's big enough for another Brisbane team.
And but it will take away from the Broncos.
Yeah, but it'll be more towards the Ipswich Jets as opposed to being sort of in the heart of Brisbane. So I do think
I'll tell you now, a lot of people in that region go to Broncos games. I'll give you an example. Like Brisbane's at one stage was a 1-city team. And I was pointing this out for a while, and Phil Gould backed me up, and I'm glad he did, because I was at the time saying, we need a second and a third team in Brisbane and all this stuff. But then Phil Gould rightfully pointed out, they're a 1-city team, they got a state-of-the-art stadium, they're a couple of million population, and yet they seem to get 21, 22 to 25,000 to a lot of games.
No, I think... I definitely think Queensland can handle another Brisbane team. Look, Sydney's got 6 or 7.
They're hovering around there, and now they've got the Redcliffe side, but I reckon... Look, they might still hover around there, but I reckon once you get a third Brisbane side, unless it's a derby, gone are the days you'll see the Broncos get 35,000 plus.
I don't like to be harsh. I think they're great rugby league supporters.
No, they are. I'm just saying when you dilute the supporter base, I'm saying by all means, I'll actually want a third Brisbane team.
I think we need a
third Brisbane team before a Papua New Guinea team.
I think we need a third. I think we need a Perth team first.
That's already coming in. That's confirmed. It's another Brisbane team before we even get a Papua New Guinea. I don't think we even need a Papua New Guinea team.
We actually have a video coming out about the Papua New Guinea expansion team and what our thoughts are, and it's going to have a little bit of detail, so look out for that. Be sure to subscribe. give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Click the bell icon if you do want to get all of our notifications whenever we put a video up. Norm Eater says that he'll be there with his tribe. It's great if you do see us at the game. Please come and say hi.
Is he a tribe? What do you mean by tribe?
Like with his crew and people that go to watch the game.
You know, he was one of the indigenous people.
Norm Eater, love your work. Habib Dibbo needs a Dogs jersey ASAP. Well, if we do beat the Dogs in the finals, I think he'll be wearing a Dogs jersey.
Yeah, it depends. Like if the Dragons make it, I mean, I'll still wear a Dogs jersey. You know, it's the finals. Come on, you know, let's get into it. The spirit of things.
Yeah. 100%. Let's do it. So with that, I think we've sort of come towards the end of the podcast. It is 9:05. We do apologize earlier. Oh, David Lau, quickly. Hey, welcome, David. It's quickly saying score prediction for this Friday. I reckon it's going to be 38-16 to the Bulldogs.
Wow, that's a mad shout. I was going to say Dogs by 18, something similar scoreline. I was going to probably say 30-12 or 30-12 or 30-10. That's more than 18.
I reckon Manly have some points in them.
They do, but I don't know, man. If Dogs defend like how they do,
yeah,
hopefully Manly's in all sorts.
I actually think our defense this week will be better than against the Warriors for a couple of reasons. Against the Warriors, we had been traveling for a long time. We went to Bundaberg, Cowboy, Brisbane, Auckland. Now we're at home, but not just that. We've got both Max King and Josh Curran, who are absolute workhorses.
You
make
guys
a
are
lot
at
of
home
meters
next week as well.
Yeah, but 2 home games.
How good?
Jamie in with the $5 when we knock the Dragons out. Dibbo to wear a Dogs jersey every podcast. Jamie's given a $5 super chat. He's saying when we knock the Dragons out, Dibbo to wear a Dogs jersey every podcast. Do we have your word on that?
For the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Done.
Oh, that's it. He's got it.
Done.
He's got it.
You know, I just want to go back to an episode we did with, remember Darcy McDonald from Fox Sports was on?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I touched on, you know, if they had the 6 hard games?
Yeah.
And Darcy was in the greens? Do you remember he could have easily been 0-6?
Yes, that's right.
And then he's ended up being 4 out of 6 when
Yeah.
he should have been probably 5 out of 6 at the least.
Because we lost that stupid Canberra game.
You know, and then that was the most important period of the year, and it set he's up for the rest of the year. I just want to go back to that and look at his now 2 home games to finish off the year. 2 games. I hope you guys win, but how fantastic! And you know what? If he's don't get a top 4 spot, if it's going to feel like he's hard done by. I'm being honest.
I don't
not through any bad officiating or anything. I just feel like teams like Cronulla getting the easiest draw ever is probably a reason why he's
look, and Cronulla's been getting a leg up for years. That's the problem that I have.
Can you guys like ship him off to Adelaide now or make him the third bridge? Like, get him off our backs already.
I agree, man. I agree.
Them and their cancerous fans.
Oh, that's a good
I think that's
question.
unprecedented. Whoever's a stats man, can you guys have something? Can you ask random NRL stats guys?
Yeah,
What's the longest streak of second half trialists by an NRL side, like keeping NRL sides trialists?
So Billy, our producer, just asked, do we keep the Sea Eagles scoreless in the second half? That'll be the 4th game in a row if that happens.
That's phenomenal.
Or would it be the 5th? Anyway, it'll be some ridiculous statistic, and it'll be just...
I don't know, man. Like it's getting like, I don't know. I feel like some burger district. I want to feel like fried chicken.
David Lau says, our fitness will trump theirs. It will be a warm Friday. I think, you know, us being at home, we've traveled a lot, and anytime, anywhere, any team is something that the Bulldogs have built into their psychology.
Yeah.
And it's like we've won. We had all this travel, and we've won every single game.
It's just phenomenal. I think this is the biggest turnaround like ever. I know sides have gone last, first, but that before the season they finished last, they were in the finals, or like two seasons before they were in a grand final, preliminary final. But this is sustained period of no finals, not even coming close to finals, then third last, and then like, you know, if they keep it going, they could be playing in a grand final. It's just such a and it's not a fluke. The stats prove it's not a fluke.
I think we've been playing finals footy now for about 8 weeks. I think we've been playing proper finals footy.
I knew they were playing finals footy from about 3 months ago. I could tell they were going to be in the finals, the way they were playing, where they were sitting. I was just find it surprising they weren't higher up the ladder for, I don't know, it was weird how they went going.
But you know what's interesting is back then when us Doggies fans were saying we're going to make the finals, people were laughing us out the door. Now we're saying the Bulldogs are going to make the grand final, people are still laughing us out the door.
I was probably your most advocate in that sense that you would play finals after seeing that. I was like, wow.
It's ridiculous like how much. So Jim Watkins asking, do you guys believe the Bulldogs can win the grand final? Look, I think we can make it to the grand final very easily. Well, not easily. I mean, I strongly believe we can make the grand final. Do I think we can win the grand final on our day? I think we can beat anyone in the competition without exception.
Yeah, I've already explained before. Looking how Canterbury have played against top sides, medium sides, and bottom sides this year, and where they're at, they're only a few wins off first. And I know they haven't played finals for so long, but they got a core of players that have played in grand finals, won grand finals. Before there was a belief that they could make the finals, and then I think there's a belief now that he's will make. If he can't make a grand final and win it, I think he's can make at least a preliminary. Like he's on the cusp of the top four. There's every reason to suggest he's can make that prelim. Man, if he's gonna, I hope you run into sides like Cronulla in the finals and just knock him out, just to give me that satisfaction as well.
Nothing will be sweeter than knocking Cronulla out of the finals because Cronulla do not deserve. I don't give a crap what anyone says. Cronulla does not deserve to be there.
I think you'd love it if you knocked out St. George. Let's say St. George make it, you knock out St. George, you knock out Cronulla. I mean, Para's not there, but and then
you pee on the Roosters and knock
you got
them
the
out.
Roosters as well, and then imagine he's had to play 4 games and he's knocked out St. George, Cronulla, Roosters, and Parramatta to one of those 4, all those 4 in that sequence. That would probably be the most ultimate win for a Canterbury fan in terms of winning a grand final.
Man,
that he's beat all 4 arch rivals.
Man, and one of the things I think as well is, you think about it, imagine it's a Dogs Penrith grand final.
Not as big as the other 4 sides I've just mentioned. Not even close.
You reckon? Bro, I think that'd be great.
I don't know which country Penrith's from, but then it's just they're isolated. They're far away. Like besides the last 4 years, they were actually quite irrelevant. I know we might have Penrith fans watching, but honestly, they were actually irrelevant. Yeah, they won 2 premierships in about 50 years. 2 only in 50. But they were actually quite irrelevant.
But right now, they're building a legacy for themselves.
They are. And then, you know what? And then they might, they do nothing after this and go for a long period of unsustained success.
I disagree.
They could potentially. I'm just saying, if they go for a long period.
But you look at the juniors that they've got coming through.
I know. But I'm just saying, if they then go for a long period of unsustained success, they can be another Parramatta.
I disagree. I don't.
Parramatta got a big junior base as well. But besides those,
but see the problem with Parramatta.
Besides that period where they won 3 in a row.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem with Parramatta is that no one's working on that junior league. That's been the biggest criticism from all Parramatta fans is that they're not actually.
No, I don't think so. I just think that.
Look,
was their retention in that just.
Glenn's mentioned you only beat Sharks by 1 point when they were at rock bottom. Well,
at rock bottom.
Well, just to be clear, we beat Cronulla. What was it? 3 months ago.
But you beat them.
Where we beat them 3 months ago. Where we are infinitely more consistent and infinitely better than we were back then. And
Cronulla should have even been in Newcastle.
We are getting better and better every single week. So while I do take your point, I think that everything needs to be taken in context. And the fact is that their forward pack is infinitely bigger than ours, and we still managed to handle them and win.
I thought you guys should have won by more, not by 1 point.
We won. All that matters is that we won.
Exactly.
And we won deservingly. We earned that win. It wasn't like the ref gave it to us. People want to talk crap. We defended our butts off and we won. And, we are much better now. So I don't think that they would even get close to us. So I think there's that. We are definitely the underdogs. And Abdul Fenj saying, I reckon the Dogs versus Roosters rematch. In 2024, if it's a Dogs versus Roosters rematch in the grand final, I reckon that'll be pretty sick.
Yeah,
I reckon that'd be pretty sick.
Going to be a heck of a finals. I just hope the players perform how they have been the whole year.
Yeah.
Because that will make for some cracker matches, exciting times. You will go deep into the finals. Where you end up, yeah, it's there for the taking. I'll say it now. You have every belief, every right to think you can win it. There's nothing
and
to
there is belief, believe me.
Any loser comes out, look at these guys getting ahead of themselves. Don't listen to them. No. Either their team's not in the finals or their team sucks. Yeah. Just take your pick. Anyway.
Boys, the salty Dragons got pumped on Sunday. We are absolutely salty that...
the Dragons couldn't beat Cronulla?
Yeah, the Dragons
Sorry, guys.
And to be honest...
I didn't want to tip the Dragons. On the last podcast, I told Elmo why. The Dragons, I'll just point out again, don't have a really good roster. And I think I'm one of the few that can see that. Flanagan's worked wonders with the reject shop there. They got a long way to go, the Dragons. I hope they still make the 8. I'll be happy to make the 8. I don't think they can go far. It's wishful thinking to suggest that You know, they might fluke a week 1 win, for example, but even then, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
And then think they can go to the prelim or grand final. It's just, forget it. When pigs fly. But someone like Canterbury, it's not wishful thinking. It's evidence there. Look at your last, even, you know what, even take out your first 4 weeks, you know, or first 2 months of footy. I think you guys are actually first on the ladder. I'm being fair dinkum.
Well, over the last...
Take out the first 2 months of the year.
Over the last 3 months, we are the form team in the competition.
But go back to the last 5 months. You're the form team.
No, I think it's since Sexton's come on. We've
But
actually...
even then, before Sexton came on, you were winning games. Like, you know, you were defending. If you weren't winning, you were defending miserly and losing a close game. I'm being fair dinkum here. Like,
all right, so I guess what we want to do is probably end the podcast with our tips for this week's games.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go for it.
Very quickly. Well, not very quickly actually, because I think some of these games are very, very interesting. Cowboys versus the Storm up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, where Craig Bellamy has rested quite a few players. Pappenhausen is playing.
Is Wishart and Pezzett playing?
No, so Grant Anderson. So Hughes has been rested.
Munster playing? He needs it.
Munster is playing. So is Pappenhausen. So they're not fully
Who's
rested.
missing from the forwards?
So he has given
Nas.
he's given Nas a bit of a rest. He's given Meany a rest. He's given Grant a rest. He's given Hughes a rest. So not as many people given a rest as we thought. He's also given Josh King a rest, which I think is very interesting.
That's a bit of too many forwards.
I still think that the Storm can pull one out here.
I was about to say, but now I just feel like he's rested too many forwards. When he said Josh King, I'm like, okay, that's too many. And Harry Grant's not there. So, You know what? I'll go Cowboys by 14 or 20. Let's just go 20. I think Melbourne will be asked not to really exert themselves in this game, especially if the game's not on the line anymore.
I'm actually going to go Melbourne by 6.
Nice shout.
I think that. Melbourne by 6.
I like that. That's a good shout.
Because
I was inclined to still call him, but then I just think he's rested now. Maybe
because even the guys he's brought in, like Dean Eremia, young Tonomapia, Grant Anderson at 7, Lazarus Valepu has been pretty
Anderson
good.
plays in the halves.
Yeah, believe it or not.
You're going, who else?
Wishart at 9, Welsh has come in at 10 for Nelson. The one like.
Can I ask? Where's Pezzett? Is he playing?
No, he's not. I think he's injured. Joe Pezzett.
Dragons should buy him instead of get rid of Kyle Flanagan.
Yeah,
Sorry, but yeah. Topic.
So I'm going to call Melbourne by 6. I think these juniors.
I might change my tip now. I mean, I probably went a bit too far. Close now. I was thinking maybe even lessen it to like Cowboys by 4.
I think it's a great shot. I don't think Cowboys will blow them away.
Oh, look, I'll go Cowboys by 4, but because I was inclined to tip Melbourne at the start.
I reckon
some of those replacement players. Wow, I'm interested to see now how Grant Anderson goes.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I want to see if he's like a Cripper Cronk from the backs to the halves.
But I think Munster will handle things very well.
I reckon they're going to win now. The more you talk about it, you're starting to. You know what? I'm going to go Melbourne as well. Let's go Melbourne.
I'm saying Melbourne by 6.
I'm going to go Melbourne by 10.
Oh, Melbourne by 10.
Changed my tip. Wow.
Sorry, Tarek. I know that you're a Cowboys supporter, and Adele if you're watching, but I've got to be honest. I think Melbourne will win.
Yep. Next.
Bulldogs Sea Eagles.
Bulldogs. I've already gone the Bull. I think I've gone the Bulldogs by 18 or 20.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bulldogs 30. I think I said 38-16 or 36-18.
It'd be nice to win by like 36 or 40 points, but yeah.
Panthers, Rabbitohs.
Panthers. I think Rabbitohs just keep losing players.
Yeah, I think.
Cody's back, but who cares? But yeah.
I reckon Panthers by 20.
I'll go Panthers by 14.
Because don't forget they're missing Cameron Murray as well. He's suspended.
Yeah, Panthers by 14.
Dragons and Eels, brother.
Oh, let's go Dragons by 8. Come on, Dragons. I'm actually backing you for once.
I'm going Dragons by 18.
Be nice, man.
I reckon Dragons by a lot.
I mean, do you see how Brisbane went against Parramatta? It's got me worried. Is Parramatta missing anyone? Do they get anyone back? What's the bet they get? Probably Junior or whatever his name is.
So Micah Sivo's there.
Yeah.
Their backline's fine. Dylan Brown, Dejan Arce, Gillard's there. Well, they got Sean Lane at prop, which I think is
not bad.
They're
playing with more freedom now. No, they can't make the 8. There's less pressure on them. I hope they saved themselves to the last game instead. Come on, Parramatta, just lose this week.
I just think that them and Barrett have a losing mentality, and I don't think they know how to dig them. I don't think Barrett knows how to dig anyone out of it, and so I think it'll be Dragons by 18.
Oh, jeez, I hope you're right for once, man.
Yeah, John Sart's mentioning. Did you see Walter say Brisbane will make the finals? So confident.
Come on, Dragons, please. Like the whole NRL is, You're
Yeah,
relying on you.
Honestly, I reckon he's just trying to manifest something there, John. But I honestly don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, can you see how like desperate I am for the Dragons?
So on that, actually, it's Broncos v Dolphins. That's up at Suncorp.
I'm gonna go a draw.
I'm gonna go.
Remember, I tipped the draw.
I'm gonna go.
They're gonna play bash each other.
Herbie's playing. They've got Sean O'Sullivan at 6. I think that's a brilliant move, and they've got Isaiah Katoa at 7. I'm going to say, sorry, Jim Watkins. I know you're a Broncos supporter, but I'm going to say Dolphins
By 6 or 8.
by 12.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to say
I'm
Dolphins.
going to
by
go
12.
draw. I'm actually confident it's going to be a draw.
I don't think it'll be
They're
a
going to
draw.
play each other to a standstill.
Look, here's my take on this. If the Dolphins can defend against Katoni Staggs well enough, they win the game. I think Katoni Staggs has been the only player for the Broncos that has shown any. I don't know.
I don't think he's the worry there. I think it's.
I reckon it's him.
Whose forwards turn up. Come on, please be a draw. But anyway, so we're going to laugh at them both.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be Dolphins by 12. Sharks
Go on.
Sharks Warriors at PointsBet Stadium.
Sharks Warriors.
Yeah,
Shaun Johnson playing.
yeah.
Who's Cronulla missing and got back?
So, they've got Talakai at the centres, which I think is
Oh, he's
a
back.
bit of a mistake. They've got, you know what's interesting?
KOR is a beast.
Cal Ira is a massive beast, but you know what? They've got Chance Nickel Klukstad at centre, and they've got Tane Tuapiki at fullback,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is great. Shaun Johnson at 7, Luke Metcalf at 6.
I'm going to go Warriors by 4. I think they're due for a win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Warriors by 10.
Cronulla's due for a shit game, hopefully.
I'm going to go Warriors by
Go
10.
Warriors. So, you know what? Canterbury can go in the top 4.
Up the Waz. Knights and Titans at McDonald Jones Stadium.
I'm going to go... Knights are going to bottle this. I'm going to go Gold Coast by 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gold Coast by 10. I reckon Gold Coast want to
Even
make
though it's a Newcastle home game, I hope they just bottle it.
where Bradman Best is back.
That's all right.
Hopefully
he knocks on the ball 4 or 5 times.
I'm going to say I want to tip the Knights because
I
I
hope
think
they
they're a bit
bottle it.
desperate. But I reckon I'm with you, man. I reckon,
They'll bottle it. Let's
yeah,
hope so.
I reckon Titans by.
Gone for a lot of upsets, but yeah.
I reckon Titans by 12.
Who's the other last game? Roosters and Raiders?
Yeah. The Raiders and the Raiders. That's at Allianz Stadium. I can't see the Roosters losing this one.
Roosters by 14. Somehow Canberra's just going to put in its worst performance of the year. Second worst performance.
I'm
The
actually.
worst one will be against the Dragons.
I'm going to go Raiders by 4. I'm going to go Raiders by 4.
Raiders by 4. I really need them to lose.
I'm going to go Raiders by 4 because I think that they are going to be very inspired by that win against the Panthers.
I just hope they bottle it and Ricky just loses his shit after the game.
And the Tigers have the bye in preparation for the
Spoon Bowl.
which I can't wait for.
Match of the season.
I really hope
Oh.
really hope that the Eels lose and get.
Where's
the
that
win.
game at the Spoon Bowl? Campbelltown? Or is it Combat?
Campbelltown.
So we're going to get 21,000
Yeah,
sellout.
you'll get 21,000.
Can you believe it? Spoon Bowl is going to be a sellout. The irony.
And I reckon the Tigers are going to win it.
Nice.
They're going to win the game, and the Eels will get the spoon.
We'll get there. We'll
He's
wait for
hoping.
this week.
He's hoping.
Hopefully, Para lose this week so I can tip him next week.
With that, boys and girls, and whoever's watching, thank you very, very, very much for joining us. We love having your support. Please be sure to subscribe, share the channel with all and sundry that love rugby league. Thank you so much for all your time. We really hope that your team does well if you're not a Bulldogs supporter. Wise Up TV, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm glad that you got to see the team. I'm sure it would have been a great atmosphere there. Shaun Johnson is one of my favorite rugby league players ever. To see him cry when he walked out was really emotional for me as an NRL fan. And I wish him all the best. And I hope that he's in the game somewhere. I reckon he will be a great commentator. He'll be a great asset for rugby league, and I hope he stays in the game somewhere. I think he has a lot to offer. So thank you so much for jumping on and giving us those kind words. To everybody else, to everyone on the sponsor, to everybody with the super chats, to all our members, thank you so much. Can't wait to speak to you again next week. We've got some really exciting things coming up. Please be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon, do all the things. Up the mighty doggies, and I hope your team has a good game. Unless you're a Eels supporter, I hope your team loses. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, man.